Let's just agree that this is it. Portland, Maine, I don't know where that is. Leave your bags in the car, keep it running. I won't pretend that I want these things. But Portland, Maine, I don't know where that is. And I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know.
All right, Tuesday morning coffee. Welcome back. My name is Rick Alexander, and the intro music was by Brittany Taylor. She's at Barbell Brittany on Instagram, and I am at Rick Alexander and at Lionheart Radio. Should you jump? A decision that I had to deal with for years, and every year I chose not to jump when I know I should have. It ate me up. I'm going to be real with y'all, and I don't want that for you. Should you leave your relationship? Should you find a new job, a new hobby, a new passion, a new career? I don't know. I'm hoping to provide some clarity on what finally sent me in that direction, and then hopefully, for y'all, you can do the same. So today's episode is about control. So for years, the world has done its best to enslave the unsuspecting because as a whole, we collectively value power. Remember, I said yesterday, every single episode is going to tie back to value. So if you didn't listen to Monday, you got to go back and do that. But to gain power over another is prized in our society. Literally. We want to gain power in relationships and over others as we often equate dominance with worth. But it has been my experience that all of this dominating has left us with a world that might not be conducive to all parties involved. And in many cases, the actual lack of power we have over ourselves ends up getting projected outward, and we pacify ourselves by gaining power over another. And this is the case with many bad managers, bosses, and abusive partners. They're weak and without the ability to prevail over their own fate, so they step in the way of yours too, or someone else's. Especially if they have a title or physical strength that can be held over them. See, one of the things that the human psyche really needs to thrive is to feel like it has some level of control over itself and its fate. So depending on what you value, the amount of control that you require is going to manifest in different levels. See, one of the things that the human psyche really needs to thrive is to feel like it has some level of control over itself and over its fate. So depending on what you value, the amount of control that you require might manifest in different levels. For example, many people are content, at least outwardly, to simply have control over small aspects of their lives, like their own lives, I mean. So most people can concede control over their schedule from Monday to Friday, but would rather not be told who they can love or what kind of car they can drive, right? So we're down to give up some power, but as long as you stay the fuck away from other power, right? That's how we concede control. But if you're anything like me, your deep desire for freedom, remember, I'm going to tie everything back to a value in this week. So I value freedom. It means that I need more control over the whole bit, the schedule, the person I love, the car, the work that I contribute to the world, all of it. So throughout 10 years, every time I've been told where to live or what to do, part of me has raged inside. And this has only been compounded when being led by bosses that I felt inferior. But I continued to take the paycheck, so I continued to do the job. I'm just at a point where it's no longer possible. But remember this, if you're taking the paycheck, for the people that are thinking about jumping, if you're taking the paycheck, this is hard, but you got to do the job. Because you might find yourself complaining about who your boss is or what you're having to do in the present moment, but there comes a time where you simply have to be about it. There can be no more talk. You either put up or you shut up. Because this is your life and it's happening right now. We often put things to the future because that's where they're the safest, right? And so that's one of the biggest things I noticed when I got out of the military. It was I'm always well, I'll do that in the future. I will eat better tomorrow. But then it's all of a sudden when the safety net got pulled away, it was but this is your life. This is your fucking life and it's happening right now in this moment. And a lot of times people that preach oh, you got to get uncomfortable. People want to get uncomfortable in only the certain ways that they want to get uncomfortable. And I was talking to my buddy about this over text the other day because he's getting ready to get out of the military too. It's oh, yeah, I'm down to get uncomfortable in the gym for sure. But I don't want to get uncomfortable with my money situation. I don't want to get uncomfortable in my relationships. It's no. If you're going to value something, the idea that discomfort breeds growth, I value it, then you got to live by it. If you're going to be idealistic, if you're going to hold ideals, you got to live by them. Otherwise, who the fuck are you? What even are you if you don't even have the backbone to live by your own ideals? And so think about the level to which you value freedom. Are you willing to concede control in this situation that you're in now that you're thinking about jumping from because you don't value freedom enough? Or because the prospect is paralyzing like I talked about yesterday? But if you really don't like your situation, and if you think you can do it differently or better, you gotta go for it. The life of a critic is one of quiet desperation. You have to test your ideas in the arena to ever really know their worth. I know I say that a lot, but I really mean it. See, whether you deeply value control over every aspect of your life or not is a good indication of whether or not you need to jump. It's not a reflection of anything else besides that desire. I don't have any ill will toward the job, the military, or the like. I signed up for a job and I did the job and that's the end of it. See, because it would be ill-contrived to have malice over a situation that you knowingly walked into. And you should think about that too, because you got to own your shit. So if you're in a relationship, you're thinking about jumping, or if you're in a job, you're thinking about jumping, it would be ill-contrived to have malice over a situation that you knowingly walked into. Remember, you got yourself here, and it's nobody's job to drown with you. Now, do situations happen that put you in less control in your life? And does that bother you? Absolutely, 100%. But the rate at which you're willing to own it is the rate at which you will begin to be able to change it. And that's just plain and simple. Because life is about learning through trial and error, much more than it's about learning scholastically when it comes to emotional matters. The job you have or the relationship you have may have served you, and it may have served you well. But if you find that your trials, that control over your own fate, is some way being compressed by an outside force, then regardless of the discomfort associated with the unknown, you have to jump. And see, to look back at the end of your life and realize that it was never really your own, that would be a sad departure from what could be an otherwise incredible experience. Do you have control over your situation? Do you want control over your situation? Your psyche does. And so there comes a time where you have to weigh that up against your ability to jump. Don't accept a shit situation because it's comfortable for you now. Bottom line. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Morning Coffee.